Hey, I'm Fam Tribe DWTS fans. I am back with the episode 5 recap. So let's get started. Okay, so first up this week we had Andy and Emma dancing a salsa with Andy's little girl, and oh my goodness, was she just so cute. It was so much fun, but he still needs to work on his frame just a little bit more and his footwork, but overall he's always such a joy to watch and just always brings such a good energy to the ballroom. His scores this week were all 6s, and I think I'm going to have to go with a 7 just for the fact of it being a dedication night and the energy just being so much more intense this week. So I'm going to throw out my 7 paddle for Andy this week, but great job. Okay, next up we had Robert Irwin and Whitney dancing a contemporary, which he dedicated to his mom, Terry. So sweet. If you remember his sister Bindi, when she was on her season, she dedicated her dance to her dad Steve, and the fact that Robert kind of completes it full circle and dedicates it to his mom is just the absolute sweetest. This dance was just absolutely beautiful and had so much emotion to it, and I know I just started bawling as soon as like his mom came out, and even before then a little teary-eyed, but as soon as his mom came out it was like I was done. I was toast. But his scores for the week were an 8 and 3 9s, and I'm gonna have to go with the 9 paddle on this one. Again, it was just so emotional and he was so just settled into the dance, and it really just brought that emotion out even more. So really great job. Next up we had Elaine and Alan dancing the foxtrot with her really good friend and Parent Trap co-star Lisa Walters. This was just too freaking cute. I just absolutely loved it. And seeing Alan not only work with Elaine this week, but with Lisa, and the dynamic between Lisa and Elaine is just so much fun. But this was absolutely adorable and I loved it. Scores were a 7, 8, 8, and a 7. And I gotta go with the 8. It was just so much fun and so sweet, and to see their camaraderie over all these years and just kind of how they show up for each other is just so much fun. I absolutely loved it. So really great job. And again, I just love Elaine. She's just so much fun. Next up we had Whitney Levitt and Mark Ballas, and Whitney brought in her husband this week, and let me tell you, hubby can dance. This was an absolutely stunning dance. There were times that she was a little out of sync, and I mean, could be just from the emotions taking over from the week and such, but when it was just her and her husband and you see that connection on the dance floor, it was just so beautiful. And Mark, again, just choreographs an absolutely wonderful dance each and every time. His choreography is just, it's wonderful. That's it, period. But again, this was just overall stunning for a contemporary, and their scores were a 9 and 3 8s. I have to go with a 9. I mean, it was just perfection almost. I mean, it was very, very close. Again, there were times of her being out of sync, and I really think that's what kind of brought the other judges out of it a little bit. But I'm going to have to go with the 9 just because of the overall feel and everything around the dance. So the 9's sticking hard with me for sure. Next, we had Jen and Jan doing the Viennese waltz, and she brought her mother in for this dedication this week. It was a beautiful dance, and her mother just moved so wonderfully, and seeing them both out there with Jan was just so sweet. She just needs to flow a little bit more through her movements rather than just kind of stopping and then going into the next. But once she kind of does that and brings that more into play, I think that's going to really make everything seem a little bit more cohesive for her. But overall, she got an 8 and 3 7s. I think I'm going to lean more towards the 7 this week. Like I said, just kind of being a little bit more flowing through the dances kind of gives a little bit more of that disconnect. So once she kind of brings that into play, that's going to really bump up her scores for sure. So great job though. Okay, next we had Dylan and Danny, and he brought in his little sister. And oh my gosh, this relationship between him and his sister is just too freaking cute. You can tell he just absolutely adores her and everything having to do with her. It's just adorable. But this week, you can really tell he's really becoming into his own and like really becoming a dancer. He is just bringing it each week and leveling it up, and he is on such a good trajectory for this show. So I cannot wait to see how far he goes in this competition and see what he has the rest of the way, because he's just doing an absolutely wonderful job. His scores were all 9s down the line, and I think I'm gonna have to agree with the 9s. Again, just a little bit more finesse here and there for him, but he's very close to that perfection range, so keep an eye out for him for sure. Next up, we have Jordan and Ezra doing the Viennese waltz with her father, and again, this is just so sweet. She has the most beautiful extensions on the show. She really does. And the dance overall was just so elegant. And to see her have that moment with her dad on the dance floor on national TV is so sweet. And then, dare I say, Derek Huff gave away his gender a little bit for him and Haley's baby coming up. Just saying, just putting it out there. But either way, Derek is going to be a fantastic dad, and Haley is going to be a fantastic mother. But I'm voting that it's a girl, so let's stay tuned and see how that goes. But I digress. Back to Jordan. All of her scores were an 8 down the line, and I think I would have to agree. A little bit more finesse and stuff like that for her as well. But overall, it was just a very beautiful and elegant dance. So well done, Jordan. All right, next we have Scott Hoying and Riley doing the foxtrot, and he brought in his husband for this week, and that was the sweetest thing, seeing him actually get to sing the song that he wrote for his husband on national TV with him right there. And I mean, definitely a little bit of a tearjerker for sure. You can tell he is feeling more comfortable as this competition is going on, which is so great. And again, it just blows my mind a little bit because he's a performer on stage. So the fact that he feels like, but again, dancing is a whole different extreme. So I definitely understand that kind of difference in feeling, but it's just so wild that he's a performer for his career and he still feels a little bit, but he is definitely coming into a little bit more of a comfort with that, which is really great to see. And his frame was really great throughout this whole entire dance, so that has definitely improved as well. His scores were a 7, 8, 7, and an 8. And I think I'm going to have to go with a 7. Just a little bit more comfortability with it and a little bit more, how do I want to say this? More danceability with it and just kind of flowing through the motions a little bit and such. But overall, he is doing a really great job this season. So I'm going to stick with the 7 for him. And next we have my girl Danielle. And oh my God, this brought me right back to being a teenager, sitting in front of that TV on Friday nights, waiting for that TGIF block and waiting for Boy Meets World to come on. And the fact that she brought Bill Daniels as her special guest for this week was perfection. And he's just the cutest and the sweetest. And this man is still going strong at 98 years old, and it was such a joy to see him and her back together again, and then to see all of her Boy Meets World family, almost all of them, I will say, because there's been a falling out with Ben over the years, which is just very sad to hear, but for the majority, her Boy Meets World family was there to support her, and it was the cutest thing to see. So very made my teen heart happy for sure. They did the jive, and it was such a fun energy. She did feel a little bit held back this week, and I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe just kind of nerves with the whole dedication piece to it and such like that, but she really did a great job. And I know there was some controversy with, Carrie Ann's criticism of her and stuff like that. But even she was like, no, 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 I'll take it. I completely understand. Let me take back what you said and work on it. So I just love her. She's absolutely so sweet. Her scores were 7, 7, 7, 8 this week, and I think I'm going to have to roll with the 7 for her. Like I said, she just felt a little kind of closed in this week, so I think if she would have maybe let that go a little bit more, it would have been really dynamite. But again, to just have the overall nostalgia from my teen years back in play and seeing it in the ballroom and seeing it at my screens all over again, it was just, I just absolutely loved it. But overall, did a really nice job for her dedication dance. Then last up, we have Alex Earl and Val dancing a contemporary, and she brought in her stepsister to do it with her. And hearing her story and seeing the overall connection that they now have is just the sweetest. It was so adorable, and how she incorporated her into the dance and such. And it was just very, very powerful and moving, and the movements were beautiful. And oh my goodness, her little sister, she was just as good as Alex. So it was a really beautiful number to watch. Her scores were an 8 and 3 9s, and I will definitely have to vote on the 9 side for sure. It was just absolutely beautiful and so much fun to see the dynamic of them together. So I'm gonna stick with the 9 for her. And that's my recap for this week for dedication night. All the dancers were just great, and all the special appearances that they all had for the week were just so sweet and just so perfect. So stay tuned for the next recap next week, which is Wicked Night. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the second movie to come out. I cannot wait to see what they all do and who has what songs and such. So get ready. We're going to have a wickedly good time next week. Thank you again for watching, and again, I would love to see your comments below on who you think is the front runners, who you think is going to win, what your thoughts are on everybody's dancing and such. So don't forget to leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are. And again, make sure you're following along on our Facebook, our Instagram, and you like and subscribe our YouTube channel as well. Until next week, bye.